One anonymous tip arrived in 1990. It pointed to a forbidden sector underground. French police opened a case the same week. A small team went down with a handheld camera. What they filmed looked wrong fast. Walls carved with symbols no one read. A door stood where no door should. And a low machinery sound came from below. They filmed it until the tape cut. The team never finished a report about it. Then, the video disappeared from the archives. Only the audio survived the purge intact. No names appear in any records. No official explanation was released. The recording has breathing, footsteps, and distant machinery. At one point, a voice whispers a direction. It sounds like someone guiding others down. The last 20 seconds become static and clicks. No follow-up was ever published by authorities. There's still no closure for the public. The file vanished, and the archive cleansed it. Some people claim it shows a ritual site. Others say it was a secret machine room. Whatever the truth, the official record is silent. We only have that damaged audio. Listen closely to the surviving tape, then decide. 300 kilometers of tunnels run under Paris. Tourists see maybe 2 kilometers at most. The rest stays mostly hidden from tourists. Entire sections are sealed off. Maps end with blank walls. No explanation follows the cutoff. Under the 14th arrondissement, there is a red zone. It sits behind reinforced steel doors. City records call it restricted access, but no official reason is published. Locals whisper stories, no confirmation. Some say it was collapsed in parts. Others talk about dangerous instability. A few claim old quarries hide secrets. Urban explorers call it the red zone. They map from memory, not paper. Access attempts end in locked doors. Some doors bear tags and warnings. Others show years of rust and neglect. One explorer described a corridor that stopped. Concrete poured across the passageway. No drain, no explanation, just silence. Researchers want access for safety checks. Heritage teams argue about structural risk. Police keep files, largely classified. Freedom to explore meets public safety. That tension keeps doors locked. Curiosity still pulls people underground. Hobbyists learn routes by rumor. They trade sketches and warnings. Some leave offerings. Some just graffiti. Still, official doors stay shut. Maybe someday the city will explain. Until then, the red zone waits. Parisian engineers heard something under Paris. They were inspecting newly dug tunnels beneath a quarry. It wasn't echoes or wind. It was a steady, rhythmic humming. The sound felt mechanical at first. Then someone wrote, "It might be alive." They recorded the sound in a formal report. The report used odd phrasing. It said, "A vibration of unknown origin." They added, "mechanical or alive." The king's inspector read it the same week. He ordered the area sealed immediately. No further notes appeared in official files. Locals started whispering about strange sounds. Miners refused to work in nearby shafts. Officials blamed unstable rock conditions. Later surveys found odd tunnels and chambers. But no device was ever found down there. Centuries passed, and the hum became legend. Archaeologists returned decades later with better tools. They recorded low-frequency signals underground. Those signals matched the old description. Records from 1782 were re-examined and debated. No scientific consensus ever formed. Some say it was hidden machinery. Others insist it was a natural vibration. A few suggest something else entirely. We still don't know for sure, but I like the idea of mystery. A place under the city that hums, closed, sealed, and quietly remembered. Not every question gets an answer. Sometimes history keeps its sounds, and that humming waits for someone to listen. One camera was found. No body followed. It happened in 1963 on a cold night. He slipped into a restricted passage that night. His camera turned up months later in storage. The film survived. The negatives survived too. The last frames were strange and quiet. Symbols carved into stone glowed under his light. Not graffiti, not paint. Something older. You can almost hear the metal in the footage. A distant clanging repeats, steady and cold. Investigators slowed the audio for a closer listen. The pattern matched a heartbeat, they said. Not a machine, not a pump, a pulse. The last frame froze on one symbol. It looked like teeth or a key. They called the place off limits after that. Filbert vanished. No trace remained beyond film. People argued online for years about what happened. Some blamed collapse, others blamed a prank, but the heartbeat stayed in the recording. You listen, and it sounds human. You also feel the space getting smaller. No body was ever recovered. Ever. The camera holds the only trail left. Filbert's name is a username now. People post the frames and dare each other. No one who went back came back better. Maybe it was just a bad choice. Maybe the passage wanted something else. Either way, the camera keeps asking questions, and the clanging still matches a heartbeat. 1987, geologists found a shaft under Montparnasse that surprised everyone. It plunged far deeper than the official catacombs map. Their probe sent back readings nobody expected to see. At the bottom lay a large metallic plate. It reflected sonar perfectly, like a machine part. It was not rock or any natural formation. They marked coordinates and planned a return trip. Next morning, they came back with lights and instruments. The entrance was unchanged, but the chamber had vanished. Water filled the room up to the ceiling fast. The water was clear and filtration level clean. It looked poured in, not the work of nature. Artificial flooding stopped any easy second look. Someone had sealed the place on purpose that night. They couldn't reach the metallic plate submerged below. Sonar signatures changed, like someone rewrote the readings. Speculation spread fast among the team and city. Was it a counterweight, ballast, or industrial relic? Records were thin, and official answers were short. Locals remembered digging crews, and then sudden silence. Most people moved on and never asked again. A few researchers still check the exact coordinates. They find the same clear water and blank sonar. No answers. Only a heavy quiet and weight below. The counterweight shaft keeps its secret, for now. A declassified 1941 file shocked historians. It names a mechanical chamber under Paris. Wehrmacht engineers found it during occupation. They sketched gears larger than a man. Huge axles and teeth matched doors in size. Pipes ran down into the earth at perfect angles. They noted pressure readings that didn't make sense. The report includes diagrams and metric measurements, but no clear purpose appears in the pages. The tone turns cold on the last sheet. Handwriting tightens and margins suddenly grow sparse. Then, a single typed warning closes the file. Do not activate the mechanism, it reads. Engineers were ordered to seal the area. A colonel's note appears in the margins. No public explanation followed the shutdown. Years later, researchers chased rumors and traces. A retired mechanic remembered deadened echoes underground. He refused to say much more. Some documents vanished, while others survived in private hands. Speculation grew faster than hard facts. Was it geothermal engine, spy tech, or stranger? Nobody proved a single theory satisfactorily. The warning remains the clearest evidence. Read it aloud and feel the weight. Do not activate the mechanism. That's where this scene stops. Quietly, the past locks its doors again. One symbol stopped a police raid in 1990. People whisper its name in Paris. They call themselves Leveilleurs, the Watchers. Rumors say they guard a forgotten labyrinth, not a sewer map or tourist route. They claim the tunnels weren't built by humans. Instead, medieval orders adopted them. Those orders say something already waited below. No one agrees what that something was. One clue keeps turning up at sites. A simple circle, split by a straight line. Same mark seen in 1990 police footage. Officers froze when they saw it. They're left without answers or arrests. Locals say the Watchers don't seek fame. They move in plain clothes and silence. They meet at odd hours, by candlelight. Sometimes, old maps get altered after their visit. Tour guides avoid certain streets without explaining why. Some files are redacted without explanation. That's where the circle appears again. Sometimes they guide archaeologists, sometimes they shut projects down. No public records show their rules. Only symbols and quiet warnings remain. If you find that circle, don't touch anything. Talk first. Take a photo, then walk away. Maybe it's just superstition, or maybe it's something older. Either way, Paris keeps the secret. Every 11 seconds, something under Paris moved. It began during metro construction in 2001. Sensors picked up a slow, low vibration. The source sat beneath the sealed red zone. Engineers expected boring or drilling noise. The waveform didn't match any normal pattern. It rose and fell every 11 seconds. The repetition felt precise, almost mechanical. They amplified the recording to listen closer. When boosted, harmonics appeared that shouldn't exist. Rocks don't make harmonics like that. The tunnels were resonating beneath the city. Teams checked maps, supports, and records. Nothing explained the steady 11-second pulse. Months later, a drilling crew broke a sealed wall. Air rushed out like someone exhaling. Tunnel surfaces vibrated under hand pressure. No machine was found, and no clear source. Some blamed trapped gas moving through fissures. Others blamed interacting tunnel modes and urban noise. The harmonics refused to fit those models. They rewired sensors, ran new simulations, and listened. The pulse didn't fade over months. Then came the real question: what hides below? Engineers began measuring resonance, not just cracks. They still replay that 11-second heartbeat in labs. Sensors sometimes flicker at night, unexplained. Nobody knows if it ever stopped completely. 2013, an anonymous map appeared online. It showed something huge under a forbidden sector. At the center sat a massive circular structure. Spokes ran outward, like a wheel or engine. People called it impossible and imagined conspiracies. Authorities denied the map's authenticity right away. They said it was fake or misinterpreted data. Then LiDAR scans came back with a match. The scans showed a void under the same coordinates. It wasn't a cave or a small tunnel. It matched the wheel shape on the anonymous map. So what was under that forbidden sector? No one has a full answer today. Leaked reports hint at industrial ruins, maybe machinery. Some researchers propose an ancient waterworks system. Others suggest Cold War-era underground facilities. Records were sealed for decades in restricted archives. Local workers recall strange equipment and restricted orders. They say trucks moved at night without lights. Whistleblowers mention tracked deliveries and heavy doors. Still, official statements keep the topic closed, so the map became proof and provocation. It pulled amateurs and experts into heated debate. Forums filled with theories and blurry photos. Some people swore they visited the surface above. They described heavy gates, no signage, and guards. Others warned against digging or trespassing down there. Because once you break the surface, answers get complicated. Evidence vanishes, and records change quickly. And silence usually protects whoever made the map. 2016, a group went where they shouldn't be. They called themselves cataphiles and carried illegal maps. Headlamps cut through black, reeking tunnel air. Hours in, something changed about the space. The walls grew colder, almost like metal. They opened into a chamber nobody mapped. A single thing filled that space entirely. A colossal door of black stone stood there. It looked cold enough to bite. Not wood, not iron, not something familiar. One explorer reached out without thinking. The stone shifted beneath his palm. It didn't open. It barely moved instead. His hands trembled and he laughed too loud. A microphone clipped to his jacket recorded everything. What it caught wasn't wind or dripping water. A metallic echo came from deep inside, low, hollow, like something huge being struck. They all fell silent at that sound. Arguments started about whether to push further. Curiosity won, and they edged closer again. Their lights traced a seam with no hinges. Tiny marks suggested someone or something worked it. No keyhole, no bolts, no obvious mechanism. They backed away slowly, leaving the chamber. The recording leaked, and people argued online. Some dismissed it as tricks and echoing pipes. Whatever it was, the door stayed put, and the tunnels reclaimed their silence after them. You can listen to that echo yourself now, but be warned, curiosity changes how you walk. This rock shouldn't exist in our geology books. We handed the fragment to geologists last week. They expected basalt, basic volcanic material. Instead, the rock had a crystalline pattern. No match in any database they used. Under the microscope, it looked alien. Not alien like sci-fi props. When we played sound near it, things changed. The fragment vibrated and hummed back. A faint light pulsed from tiny seams. It wasn't heat glow or normal mineral fluorescence. The sound pattern mattered. Different notes caused responses. Low tones made slow pulses. Higher pitches gave quick flashes of color. It behaved like a receiver or a key. We tested speakers, drums, even humming voices. All produced subtle but repeatable reactions. No tool explained how it worked. Some geologists called it a curious anomaly. Others warned of jumping to wild conclusions. We're left with two hard facts. First, it looks like basalt, but it isn't. Second, it responds to sound and light. That hints at purpose, not random formation. Maybe it was part of a machine. Maybe it remembered the machine's voice. We don't know who made that voice, so we keep the fragment under watch. Every night we record sound and reactions. Every morning we compare the playback. No easy answers, just data stacking up. If it's part of an old device, we found a clue. If it's natural, then geology needs rewriting. One explorer filmed the same carving twice yesterday. The clips were 15 minutes apart. People call the tunnels Les Couleurs Vivantes. That name means the living tunnels in French. Explorers swap stories about how they move. Walls shift a degree or two sometimes. Rooms show up in completely different locations. Maps stop working inside that maze. One team thought they reached the exit. 15 minutes later, they were back inside. Another group saw the same carving twice. The carving appeared in two different halls. That footage spread fast across social platforms. Skeptics suggested editing or staged tricks. Most people agree the clips feel disturbing. Phones lose signal and watches misbehave there. Time seems to skip or slow down. You lose bearings and start doubting memory. Fear doesn't come from danger alone. Fear comes from losing trust in reality. People return changed, quieter, and shaken. They argue about what really happened down there. Most avoid ever going back alone again. If you go, bring friends and solid gear. But even then, you can't promise safety. Record everything. Trust nothing you see. Some explorers never talk about it again. The maze keeps its secrets, apparently. At 4:12 a.m. on October 9th, 2022, something woke below. A deep rumble moved through the southern catacombs. The city above heard nothing, but sensors did. They recorded a mechanical pulse from the lower levels. The pulse fit a pattern we knew too well. It matched the 1990 police audio recording exactly. It also matched notes from a 1782 engineer report. 3 centuries and a modern tape agreed on timing. The machine was still alive in its own way. We sent a team down with lights and meters. Cameras showed gears, old bolts, and fresh welds. No maintenance logs explained the recent work. Someone had fixed it quietly, without records. The pulse kept a steady beat of 17 seconds. It was precise, patient, and tireless in its rhythm. We argued about shutting it down. Stopping it risked collapse of nearby passages. Leaving it meant accepting unknown future failures. So, we watched, documented, and left markers. At dawn, the pulse slowed. Nothing dramatic happened. Someone filed the notes under ongoing mechanical anomaly. We locked the entry and sealed our reports. Because the readings don't lie and the machine breathes. It's still alive down there. We wrote the date in the log regardless. October 9th, 2022 was timestamped, uneasy, and true. 3 dates showed the same strange mark. It appeared carved on tunnel walls before. The marks showed up in 1788, 1941, and 1990. This time, a new carving appeared. A perfect circle, split by a vertical line. It was simple and oddly precise. But beneath the symbol came words. Tempus non dormit, the carving read, meaning time does not sleep. The crew froze at the tunnel mouth. People whispered about cycles and curses. Historians pointed to patterns in records, but the Latins stopped jokes fast. This phrase tied the marks to time, not fate and not prophecy, they said. It sounded like a warning or truth. Someone had marked places across centuries. Why they did it, and for whom, nobody knew. Every new find pushed fear further. They closed parts of the tunnel. Phones lit up with late-night theories. Some joked, ancient prank. Others blamed secret societies. A few texts warned about repeating events. Still, the symbol returned, and the words stayed. When marks span centuries, comfort leaves town. You start watching clocks differently. You count years like footsteps now. Time does not sleep, the carving kept saying. And when the symbol appears again, they fear. But because we can't pretend it's random. So the city watched, and people listened. The symbol had returned, but the question stayed open. Time does not sleep, and neither did worries. The tunnels echoed Europe's magnetic hum. Researchers compared audio pulses with geomagnetic records. They matched across the continent. A machine sat beneath Parissus. It synced to Earth's magnetic field. Not by chance, but by pattern. So what was it doing? Measuring the field like a sensor? Stabilizing it like an unseen dam? Or waiting for a signal to activate? We ran small controlled tests. We nudged local fields by microteslas. The pulses shifted in step. It responded, not just listened. Sometimes it absorbed spikes, like a dam. Other times it amplified strange disturbances. Responses changed with frequency and intensity. We mapped thousands of these events. Certain tones dampened activity across countries. Others made distant places spike. Multiple sites sometimes hummed in unison. That points to coordination or a shared clock. No one claims ownership or control. We found no central command signature. Once, a pulse matched a solar storm. The machine adjusted within seconds. That saved nearby grids from failure. So, maybe it acts as protection, but protection could hide another purpose. Some anomalies looked like activation checks. Windows of sync lasted minutes or hours. We never observed a full power-up. Just tests, rehearsals, and timing. Who built this system, and why? Who pays for its energy needs? Can we turn it off safely? No clear answers exist yet. We have data, theories, and fear. We keep listening, probing, and watching. There are tunnels older than Rome. People call them the Forgotten Labyrinth. Old maps and surveys often ignore it. Archaeologists find stones that don't belong. Some think a vanished culture carved it. Others argue it might be built, not carved. They think it was made to protect something, not jewels or king's tombs, the experts say. Instead, some claim a machine lies below, a planetary instrument, or at least that's claimed. Witness accounts mention a strange low hum. The hum supposedly shifted tides and seasons. No proof exists anyone can agree upon. Here's one firm detail we keep finding. Passages were intentionally sealed for a reason. Heavy doors, hidden bolts, and forced closures. Records warn against opening what lies deeper. A priest's scribble, a sailor's map, a rhyme. All of them carry the same blunt message. They all say one thing: leave it closed. Still, explorers return to test those warnings. Small teams bring drones, sensors, and pics. They scan, they listen, and they pry. Sometimes lights fail without any power cut. Sometimes equipment dies in a single hallway. Letters come back torn, or never come back. Some teams go silent and never return. Reports change into rumors when passed along, but the labyrinth remains, closed and unmoved. It reaches deeper than our maps show. Maybe that's how it should stay. Maybe some doors should remain unopened. One machine predates Paris itself. It sits deeper than subway tunnels. The tunnels hum again, low and steady. Forbidden doors up top stay sealed. Down here, metal remembers human voices. A machine older than Paris keeps time. It catalogs what we throw away. Maps, names, old laws, lost machines. They call it the Hidden Archives. The name is small for what exists. Few people ever find the stairs. Fewer still go down without trembling. The hum wakes when someone passes above. Some hear music. Others hear a machine. Engineers with keys once entered, then changed. They came back quieter, with different eyes. One morning, a worker found a strange key. It wasn't brass, nor iron, it was glass. He took it down regardless of warning. The hum changed when the key turned. Lights woke like eyes in the walls. Text slid slow across cold stone. A voice spoke, though no mouth moved. It read names the city had swallowed. For hours, secrets bled into the air. Arguments started above. People wanted answers. The doors were sealed once more, but the hum did not leave. The archives wait, patient and blunt. Remember this: structures are not always abandoned. Some structures were never abandoned, only forgotten.